I'm playing the character of Max, and Max is a blind date. He goes on a date with Jackie, and he might be the one. He may or may not be the one. He's just come out of a tricky situation, and there's more to him than meets the eye. Obviously, at the time, it was a big part of popular culture. In its pages were the stars. It wasn't like today where everything was dispersed. I mean, the people in those pages were the biggest stars on the planet, and also the issues in there. You know, you'd overhear the girls talking about what was inside. It was kind of a bit clandestine, and so I do remember it. And you know, the 70s and the 80s, particularly, kind of the golden age. You know, it was a big part of what was going on at the time. I grew up just doing it as a pastime. I never for a moment thought to myself, I'm going to become a professional actor and still be in the profession 22 years later. It didn't really occur to me. I just loved being on stage. I loved that connection with the audience. I just always felt at home up there in front of people and connecting with people in that way. So it was really only after I joined the National Youth Theatre in 1991 and moved to London, I got an opportunity to go to drama school, so I ended up at LAMDA, and it all happened really quickly. And that was the first time I was really around people that felt like I did about being on stage. And then I started to, the penny dropped, and I thought, well, hang on, I'd always done this just for the love, and somebody would pay me to do it. So I thought, well, let's go for it.
But of course, people will know you from EastEnders.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I spent just over 3 years there.
And do you have happy memories of EastEnders? Was it fun, or was it just really hard work? Yeah,
it was fun. It was fun and challenging. I think probably the two should go together in an entertainment sense, because I'd been trained as a classical actor. I'd done other TV. I'd been in The Bill and London's Burning, things like that. Guest appearances, really. And this was my first major role where I had a character and they had a through line and an arc. And they had relationships. So I remember turning up on the first day and bumping into Martin Kemp, and oh, there's Martin, oh, there's Wendy Richard, and it was like being in some kind of video game, really, but everybody was really sort of, made me feel at home. And pretty soon, it's like a juggernaut, you just get on board. And it wasn't really till afterwards that I realized what had happened and how much it meant to people. I was too busy learning lines most of the time. I remember, and there is pictorial evidence to support this. I do remember kind of the tank tops and the big long sort of rounded off collars, and that everybody wore sort of these blocker boots, these high sort of Cuban heels, the platforms, and also you know, the flares. And it's funny because you know, I've really even though I was little, I have really strong memories of the 70s across the board, including the fashions. But looking back now, I think it was a really strong period. I mean, I remember even as a teenager going around to charity shops and looking for flares. I used to wear flares in the late 80s, and I looked for the shirts because they're really strong fashion statements. And I think everything's kind of a bit generic now, but I think at the time it was such a strong statement. Even the hair and the makeup, the things that you see, it was such a strong statement that, you know, you just know when you look at an item of clothing, you know it was the 70s, whereas sort of later periods, you're not quite sure. The 80s, people are wearing 80s fashion now, but you thinking, well, is that an 80s pair of shoes, or is that a pair of shoes somebody bought yesterday? Whereas with the 70s, you know, it's 70s clobber, isn't it? My youngest daughter's in nursery, and the nursery manager, I had a word with her and I told her, she said, what are you doing at the moment? I said, I'm about to appear in this musical. And she lost the plot. I mean, her face, she just started shaking. And she started squealing. And she said, actually, I am now moving house. And I found an old dusty box. I opened it up, and inside were my pristine copies of Jackie from the early 70s. And she said, you've made my day. She said, and when I picked up my daughter later on in the day, she said, I've got 6 people were coming when you come to Birmingham. So it's like that. I think people will be there to have a good time, but also because you know, it's connected with special moments in lives, and I think that's kind of what a hit show is about. I love the music of the 70s, so I can't see it not hitting the spot, really.
So you're looking forward to Jackie the Musical?
Yeah, big time. Really looking forward to it, and looking forward to see what the audience think of my character, and just seeing people dance in the aisles.